Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Karin and I make videos about scholarship, work stuff, traveling, anything related to my life as a millennial who's trying to go through the quarter life crisis. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so right now. And yeah. So today we're going to talk about the don'ts or the things that you shouldn't do when you're trying to secure a scholarship, especially a Chevening scholarship. Now, a little bit of a background of me is that I was granted a Chevening scholarship back in 2017. You can see a video of me talking about my experience and some tips on that here. And since I know for the past couple of weeks, some applicants for this year's intake has received the callback for their interview. So I guess I would talk more about the things that you shouldn't do when you're actually trying to secure a Chevening scholarship. Just a disclaimer. This is just based on my experience and also observation of my friends or other people who are trying to apply for the Chevening scholarship, who I have, talked to for the past couple of years. And I think the UK government has never disclosed their judgment criteria, so we never know for sure, and I might not be right with what I said, but this is just the basic stuff that I think you shouldn't do when you're trying to apply for a Chevening scholarship. So without further ado, let's discuss the first thing. So the first thing that you shouldn't do is to not be lazy. Now, this is a very broad concept, but along the way, I have received quite a lot of messages on my YouTube comments or on my Instagram DMs asking about steps of how to apply for Chevening scholarship, the requirements, and anything that basically you can find on their website. So this is very important for you to really find information on the Chevening website as thoroughly as possible, because any information that you need most likely is there. It's very, very complete. You can find anything, and if you don't really know about some technical questions, you can always email them or contact them through social media. So that's what I mean by lazy. I'm sorry, I do not mean to be salty to anyone, and I will always try to answer the questions as best as I can. But if you're asking me, how do I apply for a Chevening scholarship, or like when should I apply, I think you should have been able to answer that yourself. And if you want to ask for any information or tips from someone who has been granted the Chevening scholarship like me, you should have come up with a more content-based or like more substantial questions, like tips, not really like what are the requirements or like can I do this or can I do that. Those answers you can find on their website, while you should be able to dig more substantial information from a previous awardee of that scholarship. So that's number one. Number two is to not forget about contextuality. So don't forget about the importance of contextuality. And what I mean by this is that if you are applying for a scholarship and you're trying to pursue a degree in health, for example, then you don't go around asking someone with a degree in gender like me. I mean, sure, I can tell you my experience, but it's better if you try to find an awardee, like a person who received this scholarship before, within the same degree with you. And also, since you're applying for a Chevening scholarship, which itself is an initiative from the UK government, so you should see the sort of relationship between the UK and your country and try to find like the the interest of the UK government, socially, economically, politically in your country, and you need that context to enrich your essays when answering the essays or the interview. The UK government itself has its own interest in the country that they are giving the Chevening scholarship to. And I'm not saying this in a negative way, but you need to see the relationship between your country, where you're applying, and the UK government itself to make your essays more contextual, thus making it richer, and it will help you so much in your essay. The next thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to oversell yourself. So while it's important for you to emphasize on your strength and also promote your achievements in your essays and when you're getting interviewed, it's also very important to not oversell yourself. Overconfidence is never good, I think, because you need to have some sense of humility that can make them drawn to you. Because if you are overselling yourself, people might think, especially if you're in the interview stage, they might think that you're kind of blabbering. So they will be able to see your essays, which, you know, you should include your achievements there, and you can explain about your past experiences, but you don't need to like, oh yeah, you know, I'm so good, or like I'm number one in this or that. I don't think that's necessary. I don't know if that's just me, but my principle is that to keep a good amount of humility anytime you have an interview. Do not oversell yourself. Just, walk the talk and just don't talk the talk. The next thing will be do not hurry. By this, I mean you need to prepare as thoroughly as possible. You need to be very cautious on what you're saying and what you're writing during an interview stage. You need to prepare before you get into that room, and don't forget to always practice and practice and practice and really take the time to do it. Even when you are just writing your application, for example, if some of you want to apply for the next intake of Chevening, really take your time. Do not write it last minute. I mean, there are people who can write it last minute, but if you write things last minute, a lot of the times you will overlook some stuff that you won't have time to reevaluate later because you're like catching the deadline. So do not hurry. You need all the time in the world to prepare for your scholarship application, and so get a clean schedule. I used to have an Excel to tell me, okay, this week I need to do this week I need to practice about my opening line, this week I need to think about what I want to say to the interviewer, how to explain to the interviewer what I want to do with the scholarship and why I want to pursue this program, and yada yada yada. So do not hurry. Not only that you should not hurry in your scholarship application, you should also not waste opportunity. And by this, I mean any opportunity that you can get to make your essay application better or to make your interview better. So practice is best if you do it with someone who have received the scholarship before. It's great. In Indonesia, there's a mentorship initiative for Indonesian applicants, and I will put the information on that in the box down below. That is very useful, and if you can find it in your country, that's also useful. And when I applied for a scholarship, the Chevening, and when I applied for the university, I actually asked a UK native person to proofread my essay. So that kind of opportunity, of course, I was so lucky, not everybody can have that, but try to explore what kind of opportunity that you have in order to make your essay application and your interview better. So if you can, even for your IELTS score, for example, if you can take some IELTS lessons before taking the IELTS, go do that. So try to focus all of your energy and try to find some bits of opportunities here and there that can make your applications better and better. So the last thing is that do not lose hope. Now, if you watch my previous video about Chevening, I was granted a Chevening scholarship only after my first time of applying. So I consider myself really, really lucky because I got it in one go, even though I was rejected by other kinds of scholarships before. But with Chevening, it was my first time and then I got it. But I know there are a lot of people out there who've tried it for several times and still didn't get it. I also know that there are people out there who have tried it for their third time or fourth time and then finally got it, which is so amazing. And the good thing about Chevening is that there's no limit of how many times you try to apply, so you can just apply again and again and again, and it's free anyway, so you can always try to, you know, perfect your essay application and also try to practice on your interview and also try to improve your IELTS score. But the most important thing is that do not lose hope. Because for me, I was rejected by several other scholarships before, back to back, before I got the Chevening scholarship. It was very difficult. At a certain point, I felt like I wanted to give up, but thankfully I got Chevening. So of course, I'm very lucky in that matter, but still, I saw so many people trying so hard to get this scholarship. And if it's meant to be for you, you know, it's meant to be. Besides, you can always practice your English and you can always practice your critical thinking, your structural thinking, your writing by doing this application, even though you don't get it. So do not lose hope and just keep on trying. And yeah. I guess that's my last tip for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and comment on the box down below if you want to share your Chevening experience. I will share you my Instagram handle so you can DM me more if you have questions regarding interview tips. I make videos on Chevening before and you can see it here again. So yeah, that's it for me. Thank you for watching and I will see you on my next video. Bye.